Alter. Like, this isn't such a bad team. Let's see how it goes. We got decent healing. And unlike the previous one, the NP is not going to be too bad. We're here. Well, welcome back. Have you been losing connection? Are you able to play Genshin, though? Are you able to actually connect? Or are you still dealing with the connection? Let's take a crit up. Defense buff. Don't need to put in any of the other buffs now. And I doubt that this is actually going to do much damage to him because he has so many of these. Yo, it does 0. Literally 0. Okay, no use attacking him then. Okay, we got Tamama's NP. Heal. Okay, let's try to recharge Tamama's. Just doing opening teleport. Okay, you're just exploring. So you are able to get through. So that's good at least. Are you playing on mobile? Do you play on the phone? Because I've played on the phone here and there, especially like when I'm traveling, but I'll say I'm not a huge fan of the touchscreen controls as iPhone. Okay, wow. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of playing on the touchscreen. I can see that it can work, and especially if you practice a lot, that it seems like it'll be manageable, but I just... it's just too clunky for me, too difficult. Say this fine. Let's try to get Tamo's NP. Phone better than fucking PS4. I think I've heard that the graphics are better, the loading times are better. I haven't played Genshin on PS4, so I don't really know, but I've heard that. Or I have tried booting up Genshin on PS4 once or twice, and it's been a while, so I don't really remember, but it was very... I do recall somewhat that it was pretty slow. And it was known for... that, like, the loading, especially, was pretty bad. Okay, let's save the Tamama's NP for next turn, so that we can get some other stuff off cooldown. Nice. Hold on. Yep. Loading on PS4, it's so slow. Yeah, so do you have a PS4? I have a PS4 myself, and I haven't played it much, actually. Not recently, anyway. I got it way back in, like, 2016 or something. And I played the hell out of many games. I loved Bloodborne. Still love Bloodborne. Bloodborne is... yeah, I haven't played that in a while, but it is just a masterpiece. Let's see. Do I wait another turn for Kistorios? Skill. But yeah, I haven't really touched the PS4 in a while. I guess having a decent gaming computer and an affinity for mods made it so that I didn't really want it that much anymore. Okay, here's what we'll do. The sealed PS4? Wait, sealed PS4? What do you mean? Sealed, what makes me think of it's still like sealed in its box, but that couldn't be it, right? But I think PS4 is and was just a fantastic system. Great game, lots of great games, including Bloodborne, definitely. And recently, in terms of PS4 games, I have kind of been trying to play some Aegis Rim, which is a interesting game. I love the devs, but I'll admit that the Aegis Rim story and gameplay are not exactly my thing. Oh, you sold your PS4, I see. Oh no. Well, it might be sad, but hey, that just means you don't have a console that could distract you, and maybe you'll eventually get a PS5. I kind of want to get a PS5 eventually, but I'm still waiting for a price drop, to be honest. I'm waiting for a price drop because I don't feel like I can justify spending fucking $500 for a video game system, especially when I already have a computer that I spent almost $4,000 on that can play video games just fine. And I don't want to spend more time playing video games. It's not good for me to play more video games. So why would I want to keep spending money on it? Hard to open teleport? So is even the exploration kind of not doing it for you? I think for me in Genshin, I haven't explored in Genshin in a while actually, but generally when I do the exploration, I do like it quite a bit. But I'll also say that playing Elden Ring, like, it's night and day how much better Elden Ring is in terms of things like exploration and other aspects. But certainly exploration, I think Elden Ring just knocks it out of the park. It is a masterpiece already, I can tell, just from in the world exploration level design perspective. They teleport so far from each other? Well, that's the whole point, right? That's why you're teleporting there. If they're close to each other, why would you teleport? You just walk. That's why they're so far from each other. But hey, you should count your lucky stars that Genshin, like, the world is much smaller than it should be. Everything's a lot closer together than they really should be. It takes what? If you wanted to walk from Mondstadt to Liyue Harbor, it would take you maybe 10 minutes in the world, maybe 20 minutes if you're kind of slow about it. In the real world, how far can you walk in 20 minutes? Maybe a mile? And you're probably not even outside of your city if you walk for 20 minutes. So, you know, everything's a lot closer together in the world of Genshin compared to in real life, and hey, that's a good thing. It's a very good thing, right? Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Yeah, we're saving Castoria's NP, or Tamama's NP for next turn. They start lagging, because of the ping and all that. That does sound like a pain, because with the ping, I know there's a decent amount of lag time between your inputs and what happens, and when you're in the overworld, like, that kind of mismatch between what you press and what happens seems like it'll be major pain. Okay, maybe I shouldn't use Tamama's NP this turn. Oh, we'll use it soon. We'll use it next turn. No ping. It's something unrelated to ping? The lag then? Okay, Shiki can... Oof, yeah, we need that healing for Shiki. Yeah, this is the play. Shiki can't cut it? No, she can do it. Like Saber, Shiki is a Saber. Can't you see her class, like, icon right there? She is a Saber. She's the Saberest Saber, you might say. She's, because, what, being the Void Shiki, that means she's connected to the root or whatever, right? That means I don't know exactly what that means, because, you know, Nasu's whole thing with fucking pretentious fantasy shit is beyond me. But yeah, I think that means she's the most Saber of the Sabers. She's the most of anything. A lot of chests, but important it's teleport. Yeah, well, I mean, it's also fun to just, as you walk around, if you see a chest, just go after it, right? That's the way I played Genshin early on, and even now when I try to explore, I'll often do that. And that's sort of the way the game is designed for the exploration. But in any case, Saber Shiki is Nasu's complex world building is what makes the stories. I disagree. I disagree very greatly. I think Tsukime and Kara no Kyokai, for instance, the world building was not a big factor at all in terms of what made them enjoyable. It was the characters. And a little bit of the fantasy is required, absolutely, I think. But I think of them almost more like magic realism. Well, I guess Tsukime is straight up urban fantasy and horror, but Kara no Kyokai too is urban fantasy and horror, but it has a lot less magic and fantasy compared to Tsukime. And so I would say it's not really magic realism per se, but it's kind of borderline almost, because the level of fantasy is just not that high. And like, I don't care that much about what the story is for why Shiki has these mystic guys. I don't care that much about why the lore behind her multiple personalities and the Ryogi family and all that jazz, and like, that doesn't really matter. It's the character's interesting, the setting that she's in is interesting, like, or the, not setting, the setup of her, what she goes through is interesting. Like, that to me is the appeal. So I definitely disagree pretty heavily. The one as complex as Fate. Yeah, but that's why Fate Stay Night is the worst out of all of them, like, by far. It's not even close. Like, Fate Stay Night is so much worse than Tsukime and Kara no Kyokai. You need to know how his eyes work? I mean, you need to know a little bit, but again, you don't need to scratch underneath the surface that much. The dangers and limitations. Right, you need to at least know a little bit about that, right? You need to know that. But that's kind of standard world building stuff in fantasy. It's not particularly deep. It's not particularly... like, okay, somebody has powers. You need to know what the limits are. You need to know what the abilities are. Great, that's normal. You would expect any sort of story to have that. Haven't read it? Yeah, but I know enough, and it's like, at some point, you dig, and you find that, oh, underneath the top layer, you dig, and you realize, oh, there's shit underneath. Okay, let's keep digging. Maybe there's something better. Maybe there's some jewels underneath. And then you keep finding shit, and more shit, and more shit, and it's like, at some point, you realize, oh, that's all I'm gonna find. I should stop digging. And so, you know, or, you know, in my case, you might say, it's not shit, you find, like, hentai. You find hentai, well, no, that's not the case. Hentai is at the top, perhaps. It's really good. Nah. Like, what of, I'll say, Fate Stay Night, I have watched most of the anime, right? I've watched the original adaptation. I watched the Unlimited Blade Works movie, not by Dean, not by UFO Table, and I've watched the Heaven's Feel movies, and I've read plenty of lore entries, and I've read plenty of doujins that are not just hentai doujins, although I've read plenty of that, but stuff that cover lore and shit. And I've, yeah, realized it's just not that good. Just reading Fate Root? Nah. Let me watch the shit anime. Well, hey, I watched Heaven's Feel. And yeah, it's like, it's such I really don't like the whole Fate premise. That's the thing. The entire premise just feels stupid to me. It doesn't make for something that I want to find out more about. Oh no. Okay, Shiki should be able to finish this with an NP. Her insta-kill didn't land on one of them. But yeah, it's like, at some point, the story has a responsibility to actually draw the reader in to be interested, right? The reader has to make an effort to finding out stuff, but at some point, if it's just shit after shit after shit, you just gotta give up. I think Steel movies are pretty good. Good bit left out. Yeah, I'm sure there was quite a bit left out. And they were pretty good. The action was really good. UBW was good. I should check that out. I kind of want to see it. Because UFO tables generally, you can count on them for really good animation at least, and action. But yeah, like Kara no Kyokai Tsukihime, these are works that work just fine with surface level stuff. I don't need to know what a true ancestor is, I just need to know that Arquaid is one, and that she's a vampire who's very powerful, and that she's been killing this guy over and over again, but, you know, run into issues this time. And so yeah, you need at least that, like, I'd say, like, I'd compare it to X-Men. With X-Men, you need to know the powers each character has and what their limitations and abilities are, but you don't need to know, like, the genetics of what a mutant gene, X gene, whatever all that jazz is. And the deeper you go, like, some people are really into that shit. I'm not, or at least generally not. So it's not something that I feel adds a whole lot.